Hello, it's Adrian here from Arcade Attack, and today I thought I'd do a quick review of the sci-fi classic BioForge, an often forgotten PC gem that I just want to give a little bit of credit to today. BioForge was released in 1995 by Origin Systems, and the first thing that really grabs your attention is the iconic box. Just look at that green alien arm. It looks amazing. Looks like some sort of X-ray you'd get if you found your way to Area 51. I was hooked from day one. BioForge's intro is also amazing. Just look at the graphics of the time. It really sets the scene for a really creepy, sci-fi-esque, alien, robotic-fueled nightmare you're about to embrace. I loved it. I rewatched this intro so many times, and I think it sets the scene perfectly for an amazing adventure which is about to commence. In the far future, a fanatical group of religious extremists known as the Mondites have begun a campaign of galactic conquest. They believe in the evolution of man through machine by cybernetic implants. You are one of the unlucky victims, a prisoner in a Mondite complex on a distant moon with no memory of your former life. Your body has been turned into a hideous cybernetic nightmare by the evil Dr. Mastaba. It is up to you to explore the complex, abandoned and on the verge of nuclear meltdown, discover the secrets of the Mondites and the mysterious remnants of the alien civilization they've discovered, and get out alive from this moon.
What are you talking about?
I feel BioForge can be best described as an action-adventure title with lots of puzzles and fighting elements thrown in for good measure. Origin Systems actually called the game an interactive movie when it was first released, but I feel that isn't really the best definition of this particular sci-fi adventure. One of BioForge's most iconic moments is the ability to pick up a fellow inmate's severed arm and use this arm to clubber the inmate to death. A while back I interviewed Ken Demarest for the Arcade Attack blog. He is the chief programmer for BioForge and shares some amazing stories, so I think it will fit quite well into this section of the review, so enjoy. How did you get the opportunity to work on this title, and what were your initial visions for the game? And Ken says, well, I was a complete tech hound and I was unable to perceive limitations. My work with Chris and Rich had gone well, and I could work enthusiastically nearly without limit. I had visions for the tech from the start, and that was acknowledged to be the hardest part. My vision, however, was limited. I didn't understand the importance of great player experiences from a gameplay perspective. BioForge was one of the first games to fully showcase 3D and texture map characters, so I was really eager to find out how he actually achieved this amazing feat, and Ken remarked, well, I just imagined it and started building. I stood on the shoulders of giants, including Paul Isaac and the entire Strike Commander team. I researched limb motions and built a real-time motion capture rig using the flock of birds. But I stink at math. Thank goodness Lance Grooms was there to save me. And finally, I wanted to ask him about BioForge and the critics and the reviews the game received. Why do you feel this game never really took off and gained the recognition it probably deserved? And Ken said, the gameplay wasn't good. This was my personal limitation as much as anything else. I was all tech all the time. Jack Herman made a fantastic story in the campy style I wanted. Bruce Lemons and many others made incredible art. The animators did the best they could with the tech of the time. I'm proud of them. If I had to do it again, I would emphasize player experience and gameplay as the first discipline. BioForge, for me at least, is a game that is not that accessible today, but back in the mid-90s I was hooked. For me, the biggest plus point is the atmosphere, the sci-fi elements, and the cool story that you really wanted to discover who you are. But there are elements that let the game down. Most notably the combat, which is clunky at best, and some of the puzzles are ridiculously difficult. I tried to replay the game very recently, and it's not the most accessible game today, but if you really want to see a very ambitious game that tried new things, it is worth maybe getting a copy on GOG. One reason why the game is pretty hard to play today is the use of tank controls, a quite outdated control system, which back in the day was adopted by many games, including Alone in the Dark and Resident Evil. It does mean that when you go into new screens you have to readjust the way you walk around, which can cause quite a bit of havoc, especially when you're going through screen to screen and aliens are shooting you. The whole point of BioForge is to find out exactly who you are. The game actually comes with a bumper manual with a huge dossier of several registered patients. But which one are you? Apparently, depending on how you play the game, the person you can end up can actually change throughout, which again is another reason why BioForge is arguably ahead of its time. I won't lie to you, viewers, I never actually completed the game as a kid. I found some of the puzzles very, very difficult and challenging, and I just gave up towards the end. Origin had actually started work on a new special edition of BioForge. This new version would have extra sections and would continue exactly where the original version left off. Unfortunately, due to the game's poor sales, it never got completed. There's actually also rumours that BioForge 2 was in the works. BioForge is not a brilliant game. In fact, it's clunky, the gameplay has aged poorly, it's not very accessible today, but there is something still quite magical about it. It's the atmosphere, it's the setting, it's the idea that in the next room you could progress your story and find out exactly who you are. And for me, personally, it's the first game I played that showed me what real true PC gaming could be.